Hello once again, and welcome to the first ever edition of Sports Corner, presented by KWG Productions. I'm your host, KWG. This will become a weekly show posted to YouTube by 5 o'clock p.m. each Sunday. I'll be covering local high school sports in Henry County, as well as the Kentucky Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and providing updates on NCAA Division I teams here in Indiana. So let's get to it, starting with high school girls basketball in Henry County. Right now, the Tri-High Titans, they have the best record among the girls basketball teams in Henry County. The Lady Titans started off the week on Tuesday with a 74-22 loss at 4A opponent Newcastle. The Titans then returned home on Friday, defeating Winchester 53-41. The Titans are 5-1 on the season and play at Knightstown on Wednesday at 6 p.m. The Newcastle Lady Trojans have a record of 4-1, with the lone loss being to Heritage Christian by 4 points. Newcastle had that 74-22 win over Tri on Tuesday, as well as a 51-25 Hoosier Heritage Conference win over Delta on Saturday. The next game for Newcastle is November 28th at home against Fishers, with the varsity tipping off at 7:30. The Shenandoah Lady Raiders are now 1-2 for the season under first-year head coach Grant Fulton. The Raiders went 1-1 this past week with a 42-38 win at Blue River on Tuesday, then a 64-53 loss at Cambridge City Lincoln on Saturday. The next game for Shenandoah is November 27th at home against Frankson. The Blue River Lady Vikings are 1-3 under new head coach as well. The Vikings started off the week with a 39-32 win at Daleville, then falling at home to Shenandoah 42-38 on Friday. Blue River will play on November 23rd at Alexandria. Varsity tip-off scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Lastly, the Knightstown Lady Panthers are 1-3 under a new head coach named Rhett Andrews. He has 6 seasons of head coaching experience before coming to Knightstown. Knightstown lost their only game of the week to Centerville 52-45. The Lady Panthers will next play Tri on Wednesday, November 25th at 6 p.m. in a girls-boys doubleheader. Moving on to high school boys basketball in Henry County. The regular season starts for high school boys teams in Indiana this week. Blue River opens up the season on November 24th at Newcastle. Tri travels to Knightstown on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and Shenandoah opens up the season at Daleville on Wednesday. Now moving on to the Kentucky Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. The IU Kokomo Cougar volleyball team won a berth to the NAI National Tournament by winning the regular season in the Kentucky Intercollegiate Athletic Conference with a record of 11-1. The Cougars also won against Point Park in the KIAC Tournament Championship 3-1. This gave the next national tournament bid to the Pioneers from the KIAC, since they were the tournament runner-up. IU Kokomo lost to number 23 Madonna University in 3 sets in the first round of the national tournament, with scores of 26-28, 21-25, and 21-25. Point Park also lost in 3 to number 12 Georgetown with scores of 20-25, 15-25, and 19-25. IU Kokomo finished up the season with a record of 34-5, and Point Park finished 17-24 overall this season. So now moving on to KIAC women's basketball in the Colonial Division, used to be known as the North Division. Point Park leads the division right now with a record of 6-2, 2-1 in the Kentucky Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Sitting in second right now, receiving votes in the preseason poll, Rio Grande, followed up by Ohio Christian, IU East 1-3, and then West Virginia Tech 3-4, 0-1 in the KIAC, and Carlo rounds out the Colonial Division 3-3, 0-2 in the conference. In the Capital Division, formerly known as the South Division, led by Asbury, ranked 22nd in the preseason poll with a record of 4-3, 2-0 in the KIAC. IU Southeast sits in second right now, 3-3 on the season, 1-0 in the KIAC. Brescia 2-5, 1-1 in the KIAC. IU Kokomo 2-3. Cincinnati Christian 1-7. Midway 0-8. Alice Lloyd 3-4 on the season, 0-1 in the KIAC. For a look at each team's schedule, be sure to visit KIACsports.com or follow KWG Productions on Twitter or Facebook for a daily schedule of KIAC games posted by noon each day. So looking at men's basketball now in the Kentucky Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, the Colonial Division is led by West Virginia Tech with a record of 4-3 on the season, 1-0 in the KIAC, then followed by Point Park in second, 5-4, 1-2. Ohio Christian 6-1. Receiving votes in the preseason poll, Rio Grande sits in fourth right now, 5-3. Ranked 10th in the preseason poll, the IU East Red Wolves 4-4 overall, sitting at 500. And Carlo rounds out the Colonial Division with a record of 3-2, 0-2 in the KIAC. In the Capital Division, Brescia, who received votes in the preseason poll, they are 5-4 on the season, 2-0 in the KIAC, followed by Asbury 4-5, 1-1 in the conference. Cincinnati Christian third with a record of 4-1, Alice Lloyd 2-3, IU Southeast 2-4, and IU Kokomo rounds out the division with a record of 0-3. Those past four teams all have yet to play a game in the KIAC this season. So once again, just a reminder, for a look at each team's schedule, be sure to visit KIACsports.com or follow me on Twitter at KWG Productions for our daily schedule of local KIAC and Indiana Division I schedules each day. So now moving on to the Division I college basketball teams here in the state of Indiana. Looking at women's college basketball first, Notre Dame, they have a record of 3-0, followed up by Purdue, also 3-0. Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, they are 3-1. Ball State, 2-1. IU, 2-1. IUPUI, also a record of 2 wins and 1 loss. Butler right now sitting at the 500 mark, 1-1. Valparaiso, 0-1. Evansville, 1-2. And Indiana State, record of 1-3. Taking a look at NCAA Division I men's college basketball in Indiana, Purdue, a record of 5-0, a strong start for the Boilermakers here in the 2015-16 season, followed up by the Evansville Purple Aces 3-0, IU 3-0 as well, Notre Dame 3-0, Valpo right now 5-1, Butler 3-1, IPFW 3-1 as well, Ball State 3-2, and Indiana State and IUPUI sitting at the 500 mark, each with a record of 2 wins and 2 losses. A daily schedule of college basketball games in Indiana will be posted by noon daily at KWG Productions on Facebook and Twitter. Well, that concludes this first episode of Sports Corner, presented by KWG Productions. Once again, this will be a weekly show uploaded to YouTube by 5 o'clock p.m. every Sunday. Improvements will be made as more equipment becomes available. Be sure to visit us on the web at kwgproductions.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter at KWG Productions. If you have any suggestions, be sure to mention that in the comments below this, or tweet at us, post on our Facebook page, whatever you can do to get suggestions to us. Don't be afraid to call us either. Once again, I'm your host, Caleb Gillock. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on Sports Corner.